Hello YouTube, this is Charlie426 and today we have a review of the HG AMAIM Ghost MK2 from the Kyoukai Senki series. Now once again, I am enjoying the series a lot, and part 2, it's going good. There were definitely a lot of unexpected aspects going on, but still I am really enjoying the series. Alright, so the AMAIM Ghost MK2 is basically the upgraded version of the AMAIM Ghost kit that I reviewed some time ago. Basically that is considered the Mark 1, this is considered the Mark 2. Now there is another ghost unit in the part 2 of the anime, but it's only, now it has an entirely different design. Now I'm not going to spoil it, but basically they took out something from this unit and then slapped it onto a different unit. So that's just the way how it works in that sense. But still, let's get on to the review. Now first of all, number one, I am not able to make comparisons with the Mark 1 because that is at my parents' house at the moment. But I will try to point out like design differences in terms of pictures, like certain design changes, like the shoulders or certain designs on the feet. I will point that out, and also I will, and then again I am going to show you guys some new functions on this kit as well. All right, so. Let's get on to the review. So, as usual, this review will be slightly simple, meaning that I won't be going over articulation of the kit entirely because I have reviewed Mark 1 and the articulation is practically the same. The build structure is exactly the same with some design changes on the outer side, so there's no reason for me to go over it again. Alright, so let's see what we got. So first of all, what you get, of course, is obviously the AMAIM Ghost MK2, the more complete looking design here. Now instead of having one claw arm and then another arm being from the Johound. Now technically the Mark 1, that wasn't because it was a downgraded version, they actually got damaged. So what he did is that he basically ejected what's left over on his right arm and then basically slapped on a different unit's arms. That's one of the functions that the AMAIM Ghost has. He is able to use any weapon, any part on himself, so which makes him a very deadly unit. And for those, once again, who haven't seen the series, this thing does not have a cockpit. It is not piloted by a human being. It's fully controlled by a AI. So yeah, no pilot, no cockpit. So yeah, this is a rogue unit that roams around the area and just pretty much destroys everything, including humans. So yeah, anyway, so equipment wise, this guy doesn't actually carry any weapons. What you see is what you get. So basically, yeah, he has these massive claws that do high damage, and then you have these binders on the back, which I'll explain later. Alright, so let's talk about some leftover parts. Now, being from the Mark 1, based on the Mark 1, there's going to be some changes, and because of those changes, you do get some leftover pieces. Now, these are the actually original pieces for the back claw of the feet, so basically these ones. So I believe, if I remember correctly, I'll post a picture around here somewhere, but still, the back claws on the feet used to be smaller, but for the Mark II, they actually use the exact same claws that are on the front toe. So they actually use the same ones. So these ones are actually much more smaller. So yeah, so that is one of the changes here. And so leftover piece wise, that was pretty much it. So other than that, let's talk about some other stuff. So number one, those binders on the back, those are actually sub arms. So the sub arms, if you want to fold it up fully, you have to put them in the fist mode. But if you want to have some of these open style hands for these sub arms, these are the sub arms that you use, or the hands. So these are the open claw hands. Now there is no articulation on here, and it's a very simple build. It's a two-piece thing, so you can actually detach it like that. So now once again, I believe one of my hands, the lower fingers actually falls off a little bit too easily, so you might want to glue them on. But still, yeah, it's good to know that they actually added these open style hands, where these are pretty much for aesthetics. And then here we have some other equipment. So I believe the Mark 1 didn't use these, but starting from the Mark 2, the AMAIM Ghost Mark 2 actually started using these wired weapons. So he would fire these. Now, if you look at the arms, one of the new changes here is that inside the arms, you can see those small 3 holes in there. You can now attach these wire weapons onto those sections right over here. So now technically wire wise, you only get 2 long wires, so you're going to need to divide those into 3 pieces each to make 6 of these, because you actually get 6 of these as well. So 6 of these end tips. So yeah, what these weapons would do is that he would fire these weapons to either use it like a slash harken, kind of like similar to Code Geass, or he could actually lash these end tips to an enemy unit or penetrate the enemy units with these, and then he would able to actually control those units. So that's actually pretty scary when you think about it. So in the series, the AMAIM Ghost Mark II actually does this to multiple units, and it actually looks very deadly because I believe he just actually uses this to pretty much kill the pilot inside and then takes over. All right, so we get, keep in mind you get six of these and 2 long wires, so make sure you cut them in the lengths you want, but make sure you get 6 pieces if you want to use all of them. And finally, we get some stickers. Actually, there we go. We get some stickers. Now, some stickers are pretty much identical from the Mark 1. These 5 blue ones are for the claws, but I decided to use a Gundam metallic blue marker. And then the circles are actually on the hand palm, which I'll show you guys later. And then we have the eye stickers. Now, I can't remember if the original one actually had a single piece sticker or 2 individual stickers, but once again, you get two eye stickers for left and right. Now, these 2 I really wanted to use, but once again, they were just so difficult for me to apply. So apparently you have this one is actually for the chin area, so you have to attach a sticker to the chin, and then this one is between the eyes. You have to attach these stickers, but once again, not easy, so I decided to skip on it. Oh boy, that's pretty much it for the components, and let's see what we got. So first of all, for those who haven't watched my first AMAIM Ghost HG AMAIM Ghost kit review, here is a size comparison with a typical 30-minute mission kit. Now, usually I would compare this with a typical 1-to-144 scale HG Gunpla kit, but once again, the ones I have in my house at the moment, they are not the best examples to show. So here is a 30-minute mission kit. You can see the height differences a lot. So this, despite being an HG kit, and this is a 1-to-72 scale kit for the Kyoukai Senki series. So yeah. Imagine, so if this were to come out as a full mechanics kit, it's going to be huge, way bigger than Kenbu. So yeah, it's a very big kit, so which is why I actually like it, and the HG AMAIM Ghost Mark 1 was actually one of my best kits of the year for 2021. Alright, so we've seen the size comparisons and such. Let's see the actual differences. So starting from the head here, once again, articulation wise, it's pretty much the same. It works pretty much the same here. You have your neck joints, and then you can go down and up a little bit. Up not so much, but down a little bit better, like that. And then 360 sense is a little bit limited because there are these obstacles or parts blocking the path. All right, so once again, because of I didn't use the stickers, it may seem a little bit lacking, but once again, I actually do like the color scheme. But once again, head-wise, here is the difference. I'll post a picture of the head here. Now, menacing-wise, I think the original head design was much better in terms of how menacing it looked. And then I did like the fact that now, since there was only one antenna on the side, but on the other side, there was a scar thing going on here. So that is actually, I really like that design here. Alright, other than that, the obvious is that the shoulder design has changed for both sides as well. So we get now both shoulders are now the same, and then they have these red color like design pattern on the shoulder. So that's a difference going on here. Now looking at the back here, now the back, I believe every part they use is pretty much identical, but now we have, instead of these jammers, we have these wing binders going on here. So here's a picture on the side for a quick comparison. Now for these sub-arms, what you can do is that, number one, you can open this section up, and then you can extend the arm, and then you can rotate this part out and reveal the sub-arm. And once again, you might have noticed, oh, there's a hole in the hand. Can I actually attach more weapons to this? The answer is yes. So once again, I will be showing you guys some demonstrations going on that. But once again, later, that's just the way how it is. And then you can, this one actually uses a peg on like a ball joint, so you can attach this to you can attach the regular open style hand if you want to do so. Now this may feel a little bit awkward, but still it actually looks pretty good when you get used to it. Now keep in mind, you can't fold this in with the open style hand, so make sure you swap out hands before doing that. Alright, so we've seen the sub arms. They work pretty well in terms of articulation. Once again, here is the first articulation here is where they connected here, so you can go side to side like that, side to side movement, and then you can go forward a little bit better like that if you want to do so. Downwards, you can do that. Now, since the way how the arms work, or the articulation here works, there is actually another separate part here between the main body and the arm, which is a very odd choice, but once again, this helps a lot for the articulation for the subarm. So you can actually move up and down or go 360 if you want to do so. So it works very well. All right. Other than that, the only main difference I can find out was that other than the back claw here is actually the feet here. Now the structure is pretty much identical. The structure here in terms of build is exactly almost identical. The only difference is the design here. Now the Mark 1 design actually had a much more simple design here, but now they have this more edgy looking design here on the lower leg, on the outer armor. So other than that, it's not a huge big difference. Alright, so we've seen the basics of the unit. So once again, there has been some changes in designs, but once again, the build style is pretty much still there and still big and still has all the good qualities that the Mark 1 had. Now, in terms of the choosing, if you had to choose one, I'm not really too sure which one to recommend, because I really like the Mark 1 as well, but the Mark 2 also has its own charm. So I would really suggest you get both, but still really up to you. Now keep in mind, while this was premium Bandai in Japan, I believe, in Korea this was not premium Bandai as well. So it's kind of the same situation as the HG Lancelot Albion. Alright, so I've shown you guys the differences of the kit between the Mark 1 and Mark 2, and some new changes as well. Some changes are very obvious, like the claw arms and such as well. Alright, so I'll be right back with the subarm demonstration and we'll end it off there. Okay, I'm back. So here is some demonstrations regarding the equipment and such. So you can see on the background, on the subarms, you might have noticed certain weapons on the back, and I have the cracking wire. So that's the actual, I believe that's what the manual calls these weapons, I believe, is the cracking wires. Now, once again, I'm not a big fan of these as much as I do love the effects, or how they show it in the anime. In terms of the products, I'm not a big fan of the wire weapons, because these tend to get a little bit messy in the long run. But once again, if you can pull off some really cool poses, it's going to look really cool. So once again, these wires, they attach okay, but once again, I had slight issues attaching these end tips here onto the wires, because the hole seems to be a little bit on the tight side. So keep that in mind. But once again, the wires attach to the arm with no problem. All right, so here we have the subarms out, and then we got some other weapons ready. Alright, so the subarms, currently what weapons these are holding. So number one, here is the gun from the Rabiot from the 30-minute mission line, and here we have the exact same gun that was attached to the Brady Hound, or the Brad exclusive Brady Hound, or the Joe Hound. So it can hold these weapons without no problems. But the only reason why they can hold these weapons is that this is just a square hole. So meaning that rifles with handles with a very simple design like this, so basically rifles that don't require trigger finger style hands or specific hands will work on these. So that's actually very good. You can just slide it in and get to go. And then thanks to the articulation here, you can pretty much point the gun anywhere you want to do so, or any direction. Now I guess going to the side 90 degrees is slightly impossible, but you can kind of work your way around if you want to do so, like that. So I am really enjoying this. So the Brady Hound gun, same situation here, so no problem. Now let's some of you guys might be wondering, what else kind of weapons can you attach? So I actually brought out two more weapons, which are close combat. So number one, I brought out the longsword from the Brad exclusive Brady Hound, and you guessed it, it slides in there perfectly, so you can actually have these subarms holding these type of swords as well. So that is very, very cool. And if you're wondering, some people might ask, can you hold it upside down? And the answer is yes, because it's pretty much the exact same hole there. It's a straight hole. So but once again, the weapon might feel a little bit wobbly going on here, so it doesn't really latch on. There's no locking mechanism, so it may feel a little bit loose. But once again, if you have the weapon in the right angle, there's no reason for it to fall down like that. Now the only limitations I found was that a typical beam saber from Gunpla will not fit, because it's, number one, it's a round handle. This is from the Barzam. The hole is not big enough to hold these type of weapons, so that's the only limitations I found regarding the weapons. Now there's going to be much more unique weapons out there. Now those you're gonna have to figure out for your own. But any weapons from the 30-minute mission lines, especially for the guns, I think should work fine. But once again, anything with a round handle, there might be some limitations. And that's pretty much it for the review. So once again, it's pretty much the same structure, same build as the AMAIM Ghost Mark 1, but once again, instead of having one claw arm, you have two claw arms and slightly different designs on the lower leg. And then instead of having the jammer binders, you actually have these cool sub arms. So once again, it's really up to you to choose which one to get. Now keep in mind, now I believe certain countries will consider this as a premium Bandai, while other countries like Korea did not consider this as a premium Bandai, but just took pre-orders. Anyway, that's pretty much it. If you guys got any questions or requests, leave a comment below. I still have more stuff to buy and build and make reviews out of, so please stay tuned. Until then, see you guys next time.